Typical WWE, right? When they mess up, when they screw up, instead of stepping up and saying, our bad, we're gonna make this right. Stepping in front of the world and saying, we're to blame, we're going to be better, we're going to do better. Instead of doing that, typical WWE, they ran away as far as humanly possible last night and they hid. They hid the entire 3 hours. What you saw last night was a house show. If you've never been to a house show is just a bunch of random matches with no meaning and they don't really lead to anything. It's just a chance for you to see some of the WWE superstars. Not televised. It's really nonsensical BS. But it's a way for the company to make some extra fucking money, take your money, get you out to the arena, buy their t-shirts, be ooh and odd by Apollo, or Zack Ryder, or Dana Brooke, or whoever the fuck. Those are what house shows are. What we saw last night was not WWE Raw. That was a house show last night. A bunch of useless, meaningless, bullshit matches I gave zero fucks about. And I'm sure you did too, for most of them. If a club versus Lucha Summer College house party match that went over 10 fucking minutes thrilled you, man, I'd love to be on whatever you're on. If the Viking Raider Experience Adventure versus Rude and Ziggler, even in a non-title match at that, really fucking blew you away, man, I'd love to be what you're on. If a 5-minute Apollo and Ricochet match blew you away, man, I'd like to be what you're on. If the main event of some boxer, Tyson Fury, and this monster Braun Strowman having a minion hissy fit blew you away, man, I'd love to be what you're on. That was a house show. I would be surprised if Vince McMahon or any McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie, even Paul Heyman, Kevin Dunn, I'd be surprised if any of them even showed up last night. They had to have known from the first minute they started hearing those AEW chants and restart the match and we want a refund in Sacramento. When they started hearing those chants, I think they knew they were going to phone this in and they were going to run for the hills and hide until the dust settles. This looks like a skeleton crew was at Raw last night because Raw's usually pretty fucking bad, but at least we see some what they would call effort, right? It's just really bad. But you see that they're trying to do this, that, and the other thing, just really horribly. Last night, they didn't try anything. Last night, they just put together a bunch of fucking useless matches. Just to showcase superstars for the draft. That's all last night was. I could not think of a more lifeless Monday Night Raw, or I'm probably sure I probably could have, if I really gave this the time and the effort. But that would be more time and effort that Vince McMahon is putting into his own show, so I'm not going to do such. But I could probably come up with a list of Raws that really had me boggled more than this. This just was a house show, though, and that's what really is concerning to me, is because usually, no matter how horrible it is, you see that they're trying some things. Last night, they literally gave up. They literally said, okay, we got shit on, we fucked up, let's run away, let's let this kind of roll over, let's let everybody get it out of their system, let's just showcase some of the wrestlers. For 3 hours, we had nothing to look forward to. For 3 hours, nothing of meaning or substance transpired. For 3 hours, I was dumbfounded about what the fuck I was watching. If it wasn't for my Yankees in their playoff game last night, I would have been a lot more upset. Luckily, I had that to turn back to. And yes, we won the ALDS. The American League Division Series has been won by the New York Yankees. We will now go on to take on either the Houston Astros or the Tampa Bay Rays. And either way, one by one, they will go down. Good job, my Yankees. And again, the fact that that game was on last night was a blessing. Otherwise, I would have literally, minute by minute, have to have been stuck with this shit show. Even when, like, the Street Profits were speaking, I would have had to stay on the USA Network. This was a fucking house show. It went from really, really bad, almost as bad as you could possibly get, to somehow even worse last night. It's like the old saying, you ever hear somebody say, oh, it can't get much worse? And then usually it does. It's almost like you're jinxing yourself, right? It's like if you got money issues and your car breaks down. Well, it can't get any worse. But then you find out your credit card's been stolen with $10,000 in damages. It just got worse, my friend. Or your favorite football team, you just lost your star running back, cornerback, and wide receiver to injury. And you say, it can't get any worse. And then 10 minutes later, your quarterback goes down with a broken leg and he's out for the rest of the season. It just got worse, my friend. Well, with Monday Night Raw, we finally hit a point where we said it can't get much worse, and it got worse. Because now they're giving us house shows. Now they're literally putting zero effort in. At least before I would see some effort here and there, it was just really bad effort. Now, none. That was a house show, and that's concerning. Because that is a 3-hour program that back in the day, just 20 years ago, we got excited for at 8 a.m. when you were going to school or you were going to work even. It didn't matter your age. You knew. You were excited. There was this feeling in you that tonight, just by watching your fucking television set, shit was going to go down and you were going to be entertained. For the past 5+ years, we just watched Raw out of habit and hope. And somehow it got even worse than that last night. So what happens? Do we start watching Raw now in a disgusting state? Because again, at least we had habit and hope. But if that's lost, then it's just a misery. And what comes after that, guys, is we finally tap out and we have no choice but to stop watching the product. I don't even want to think of that because this has been a huge part of my life for over 30 years. But that was near close to misery to watch that last night. I was a bad kid growing up, and I went to the big house a couple of times, and I'm telling you right now, what I saw last night, that was almost more depressing than going to prison. Legit. And I've been to both. I've been to the big house, and I've been watching fucking Raw lately, and that is becoming just as misery-inducing as a prison cell. A prison cell might be better because you don't get a TV set. So you wouldn't have to put up with this bullshit. So maybe that's better. Maybe this is worse than prison. Is that fucking possible? WWE and Vince McMahon keep finding a way to make these things possible. They keep hitting a new low. They keep hitting a new rock bottom that, unbeknownst to us, we never would have thought of could be reached. They didn't even bother bringing Seth Rollins out last night. Didn't even bother. Dude's ready to go. He's a little banged up, we're hearing. But he was ready to go. No, you are not hitting Bakersfield, man. We are going to fucking... They didn't even mention that main event from Hell in a Cell. They didn't even mention that till 2 hours and 46 minutes into the show. I know there's all these hours. Wow, they didn't mention it till 2 hours, 2.5 hours. No, everyone's wrong. If you want the straight statistical fact of the time slot, it was 2 hours and 46 minutes into that show. That's what I'm here for, to give you guys the real facts. 2 hours and 46 minutes. It was right before the Tyson Fury, Braun Strowman, Minions Hissy Fit fight. So they didn't even mention that, let alone bring Seth. They didn't even bring Bray Wyatt out. And by the way, there was a report that Bray Wyatt is injured and not cleared for action. That is false. After Raw went off the air, Bray Wyatt appeared and took out Cesaro. Because Cesaro was part of the brawl between Braun and Tyson Fury. He was breaking it up, and I guess Braun punched him a couple of times. And when Cesaro got back up, the lights went out, the screeches hit, and when the lights kind of dimmed back up, Bray Wyatt was in the ring, and he gave the claw to Cesaro. So if you're not medically cleared, you cannot do any action in the ring, guys. I want to make that, that's a straight up thing. Trust me. I know people in the Performance Center, thankfully. A lot of my information comes from there, and a lot of it is the medical aspect. If you are not medically cleared, you cannot perform wrestling moves inside the ring. Now, yes, to us, it's just a claw. He's just going to put it in. He's going to take a knee. But you cannot do that. It is medical call procedure. So he is absolutely cleared. So if Meltzer is trying to tell you this, slay him down. Amplify Man has the real knowledge for you. He's absolutely cleared. Now, if this back issue or whatever it is gets worse, yes, he will be evaluated and they'll go as such. But he was ready to go last night. They just kept him off because they didn't want Bakersfield to say anything or be reminded of that main event while the red light was on and Raw was on the air live. They didn't want to risk the chance of AEW or restart the match or we want refund. They don't want to risk the chance of anything. And yes, Bakersfield wasn't even Sacramento, but they would probably be asking for a refund too. That's how bad Hell in a Cell was. They kept Seth off. They kept Bray Wyatt off. They kept fucking Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn, Paul Heyman. I would not be surprised if none of them showed up fucking last night. Legit. I think I saw Paul Heyman backstage, but you get the fucking point. My point is, it looked like everybody phoned it in from some remote location. Like they're all in witness protection this morning. Yeah, let's just get this show done, man. We got a draft coming up. Let's just put a bunch of matches out there. It doesn't even matter. I don't need storylines. I don't need any of this. Just put it all out there. And put Bobby Lashley in bed with Lana, though. I still want to stick with that idea. Get it done! Vince McMahon hangs up the phone, right? They're in some remote location. You got a fucking one of those dust balls rolling by in the desert. Where the hell we are, Triple H? Where are we going? Vince, I don't know. My GPS isn't working, Vince. I don't know. I have to get to Wednesday's NXT show. Oh, please. AEW's kicking your ass. Just find me a place to stay for the night. Okay, I can do this for 10 minutes. That's probably going to be more entertaining than fucking Raw. Let's get into the fucking show. There's not much to talk about, but I'll start it off. How about with no pyro, by the way? It's only the second week. Only the second week of this new era, and pyro's already gone. I think Miz may have gotten some sprinklers, and somebody's blowing smoke up Becky Lynch's ass when she's fucking coming out. But that's the only really entrances that we saw that had anything. Other than that, the intro pyro is gone. I don't even know what to say. I mean, we still have the theme music for now. And then we just went into Rusev getting jumped by Orton and Corbin in the ring. And if that wasn't bad enough, up on the Tron, Bobby Lashley appears at Rusev's home, in Rusev's bed, and with Rusev's wife. Rusev flips out, of course, and takes out Corbin and Orton back in the ring. Now, yes, I'm pissed off about the pyro, but at least this is the best Rusev has looked in forever. Even with Rusev Day. This is the Rusev I've wanted to see for the past 4 years now. But I can't get too excited because I know Vince will 50-50 book him back into obscurity in no time. In fact, probably right after this Bobby Lashley feud. So listen, I actually don't mind the storyline. This whole Bobby Lashley thing, and to be honest, that's the most effort they put in anything last night. They actually had a bed, and they fucking put Bobby and Lana in it, and that was the most effort they put. That was any type of storyline that I saw last night. It certainly wasn't the Minion fight with Tyson and Braun. That was the only real story that I saw last night. So I'm okay with that. I just think it should be more positioned in the middle of Raw. Why is that starting Raw? First of all, it ended Raw last week. And then this week it's starting Raw. They're treating this like it's their biggest storyline. And the company is so bad right now, it probably is. The only other storyline that we know about is a fucking boxer and Braun. And Braun's always pissed just because he doesn't have his favorite Capri Sun and chocolate chip cookies in his lunchbox every day. That's the only thing that he gives a shit about. And Tyson Fury, nobody even knows what the fuck he's doing other than Vince McMahon looks at him as a real athlete. Not his WWE superstars, but the ones that are up on your fucking ESPN shows, that's the ones Vince really wants. He'll sacrifice his own fucking roster to make them look like gold. That Lashley and Rusev storyline is the only one in WWE right now. Everything else is either dead or meaningless. And or both. So I don't mind it, I just don't feel it should be kicking off Raw. But when you look at Raw last night as a whole, you'll see why that's the only thing they probably could have went to. Because they have nothing else, and that is fucking tragic when you're a 3-hour weekly live event show. Up next, Natalya versus Lacey Evans, last woman standing. I actually enjoyed this match way more than I thought I was going to. When you think about the rematches that they've had, we've seen it before, and on top of that, nobody cares about this. But I was actually fucking semi-entertained by this. I mean, the bulk, as in all, of this match was Lacey Evans kicking Natty's ass all around ringside, up the rampway, and on the staging area. Kendo sticks, chair shots, even a suplex on the commentary table, and it was great to see Lacey Evans finally come into her own. Like, literally own a match finally. Because I feel she's been improving every week, but this is the first time where she owned this shit. And if you ask me, I would have gave her the victory. She needs that victory way more than Natalya, who's been there for 10 fucking years and isn't going anywhere. In the end, again, Natty wins this match. She grabs the upper hand on the staging area and hurdles Evans via a powerbomb off the stage and through a table for the victory. Natty wins, and again, I actually enjoyed it, and unfortunately, that's the only thing in the night that I would enjoy. And that was in the first half an hour, so that tells you what the next 2.5 hours brought to the Amplified Man. Again, thank goodness for the Yankees last night. But Lacey Evans looked fucking damn good. It was dominant, and I just don't understand why you would make her look that fucking dominant, and then at the very end, she just eats a fucking loss. Reminds me of Bray Wyatt, right? He talks a good game. He's had so many good storylines and feuds, and then when it gets to a big match, Bray Wyatt can't fucking win if his life depended on it. Hate that shit. Again, that was the only thing I really enjoyed last night. Then we go on with the rest of the show, and it was Street Profits. For 4 minutes, they just spewed a bunch of nonsensical bullshit. I literally, this is a true story, switched over to the Yankee game for 2 straight minutes until they went to commercial. I thought, okay, it is safe now to go back, right? I was basically like Vince McMahon and Triple H running for the hills in obscurity. Kevin Dunn, all the running away and trying to find a witness protection spot where nobody can find me after that Hell in a Cell disaster. I was basically joining them when the Street Profits came on because I wanted nothing to do with it. But I thought when the Yankee game hit commercial, I'm going to switch back, they'll be off the air. They can't fucking spew shit for 3 minutes, right? They went 4 minutes. They were still on the air when I switched back, spewing a bunch of shit. I literally, when I came back, had to mute them. I muted them. This is a true story. That's how bad and tragic the Street Profits are to the Amplified Man. And that's a shame, because in NXT, I actually enjoyed their work. In WWE, they are more than just glorified puppet cheerleaders. They are now at the point of disgust. I get this fucking just nauseous feeling when I see them now. It is absolutely horrendous. If I never see the Street Profits again, it'll be too soon. The Viking Warrior Experience Raider Adventure ended hour number 1 and began hour number 2 by defeating the Raw Tag Team Champions, Rude and Ziggler, in a non-title match. As if we needed to see these two teams anyway, we didn't. But on top of that, it's non-title. And then on top of that, that is what is starting our second hour. Usually at the top of every hour, you start something refreshing, right? A big storyline or something. That was their big fucking showcase. I would rather see the Viking Warrior Experience Raider Machine Adventure taking on Peacock Paulie, Fuckwad Fred, Danny Dipshit Dugenheimer, and my local pizza delivery guy Luigi Lugnuts, with the special guest referee Billy Buttfuck McGee. I would rather watch that than seeing Ziggler and Rude as our tag champions taking on the Warrior Raider Adventure Machine Experience. That's the truth. I would rather grab local bingo hall guys and put them in there because that might be more fun. And how about your Raw Tag strap holders losing so simplistically? Even non-title matches, they're losing. Those are your champions. That's how Vince McMahon looks at his championship belts. Awesome. Fucking toys. Now we're into hour number 2. The Singh brothers are in the middle of the ring with a live mic. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fucking, that's a great segment in the making. So they have a live mic and they want to pick a fight with Aleister Black. Black obliges, hits the ring and annihilates both Bollywood bros in rather simplistic form. Moving on, the club took on the Lucha Summer College House Party. After a pretty solid battle from the College House Party, the OC was able to pull it off. The victory, of course. I sure would hope so. It's the Summer College House Party. Why were they going 10 minutes with the house party? Even in victory, they somehow make the OC look fucking weak. It took them over 10 minutes to take out the Summer House Party. Post-match, the OC inflicts even more damage to the party via a Styles Clash to one of the party attendees from up on the second rope. Okay, didn't gain any more suspense from the Amplified Man. If it did you, awesome. We're already on to hour 3 because the rest of hour 2 was a bunch of filler. Some SmackDown Live recap bullshit. Friday Night SmackDown recap bullshit. Some charities that WWE is doing. And before you knew it, we were at hour number 3. If you were still awake, or if you were still watching the program, we were now at hour 3. Let me just, it's an asterisk. Because by that point, a lot of you probably tuned out or you were fast asleep. But hour 3 begins with Miz TV. And we are with Becky Lynch and Charlotte. This was basically the Miz kissing both their asses. How Becky's on boxes of cereal. How Charlotte's now a 10-time champion. Blah, blah, and blah. The best lines came at the end when Becky said, "Look at you smiling over there with the belt that I made famous." And Charlotte responded, "Yeah, well, I made you famous." So I like those lines, but it didn't lead to anything. The Kabuki Warriors come down, and we have a brawl that takes us to commercial. When we come back from commercial, a tag match is established. Billed as a Champions Showcase. Kairi and Asuka, women's tag strap holders versus Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch and SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. Becky gets the green mist at the end of this, and Asuka is subsequently pinned. Asuka. Becky Lynch gets the green mist from Asuka, and Becky Lynch is subsequently pinned by Kairi Sane. There you go. I can spit it out. So Kairi Sane gets the ultimate victory over here. And there you go, right? We're all waiting for the big Sasha Banks victory at Hell in a Cell because it's long overdue and way more deserved than humanly possible. But instead of getting that moment, Becky Lynch is tapping out Sasha. But then the next night, that's when she gets pinned simplistically. That makes sense. Have her win when she shouldn't be and lose when she should be looking dominant. This company is so fucking ass backwards, it's ridiculous. Almost to the point of no return if we have not already hit that point. Post-match, there was a brawl with Charlotte, Asuka, and Kairi because Becky Lynch was outside trying to get mist out of her eyes. And Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross come out to make the save. So that's where they want. I don't even fucking... Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are now the saviors. It's not even that Vince wants you to look at them as faces. Now, he really is trying to push this. He really wants you to get behind Alexa Bliss. Nikki Cross, we know we can. Alexa Bliss, there's a fan base that thinks she got way too much, way too soon, undeservingly, so she has to pay her dues. Now Vince is just like... with or without the championships, you're getting Alexa Bliss in top storylines. You're just gonna get it. It's mind-boggling. I don't know what Alexa Bliss has over this company or Vince McMahon, but Alexa Bliss gets the fucking world, and she keeps improving, just like I say about Lacey Evans, just like I say about Dana Brooke. Every week they improve. But in no way, shape, or form should they have had that many championships already. And you got Sasha Banks over here with 4 title reigns that equaled only 3 months. Shit just doesn't add up. I don't know. Alexa Bliss just looks like a superhero last night with Nikki Cross and to who, I don't know. Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn, I guess. They're thrilled. They're getting their rocks off right now over Alexa Bliss becoming a face that people are gonna love. Ricochet versus Apollo is up next. Good match for 5 minutes. What did you expect? They were never going to give these two any time. And to be honest, Apollo doesn't thrive any emotion out of us anyway. They have made him so irrelevant. It's not even a 50-50 book jobber, dude. He's just irrelevant. And they have made him so irrelevant that you just literally get nothing with this dude. It's sad. Sad for him because we know he's got talent, but sad for us because we have to put up with it now. Everybody loses when the company makes these drastic, treacherous decisions, time after time. It ruins the superstar, it ruins the fan experience, it ruins your product as a whole. Okay, anyway. What with these two? What did it do? Nothing. I don't even know what to talk about. This was supposedly to showcase these two for the future positioning roster-wise of where they're going to be placed. Their future position roster-wise. That was all this was about. So I have nothing to talk about. In 5 minutes, Ricochet defeats Apollo. Here's a concept. I know this might sound a little bit fucking insane, but if you just showcased guys like Ricochet and Apollo in the right way from day one-ish, you wouldn't have to have this showcase last night. You wouldn't have to tell people, hey, this is who they are and this is what they can do. And on top of that, you did it anyway, and you still only gave them 5 minutes tops. Good job, Vince. Or whoever was running this show last night while they were in a remote location in witness protection. Ricochet wins, moving on. After 2 hours and, again, 46 minutes, they finally talked about the Universal Championship match. It was hilarious. And they cut it up so much that you couldn't get pissed. If you didn't see it and you heard all about it and you were waiting to see in this video package, let me see what everyone's talking about. They chopped it up in a way where you were getting some of the best moments. But if you saw the whole storyline in its entirety at Hell in a Cell, storyline of the match, you would see exactly why everybody was about to just flip and riot. But 2 hours, 46 minutes. They did it to a point where they knew that the crowd didn't have a lot more time. If they were going to shit on it, if Bakersfield was going to turn on WWE, they knew they were only going to have 14 minutes, and they knew it was going to be a brawl segment. So that'll kind of subdue them. So they knew what they were doing. They knew they fucked up. They didn't want to admit it, And by what I mean by admit it, I don't mean Vince McMahon coming into the middle of the ring and saying, hey, we fucked up. No. By admit it, I'm saying create an amazing show for Raw. Get us in tuned to the way of thinking of why should we care going forward. Get us in tuned with the thought process of, listen, it was a mulligan night, they fucked up huge, but now we're gonna get epic shit. They're gonna pay it forward times 10. They're now going to right their wrongs. We just wanted to see glimpses of that last night. And no. He remains defiant and stubborn, and instead gives us even more of a lackluster show. And almost like a little bit of an insult, we're not even gonna give the live crowd a chance to chant anything, because we're gonna play that at 2 hours and 46 minutes. And then a brawl segment is always gonna have people's eyes bugging out, so whatever you were chanting is gonna be subdued, because now you're watching this chaos unfold. He knew what he was doing last night. I wish Bakersfield was smarter to that, but like I said, this was nothing more than a house show. So Bakersfield treated it like a house show. You know, when you go to a house show, you're there just to see the superstars. For everyone at home, we tuned into Monday Night Raw and got a house show. And that's why that's drastically wrong in every which way you could think about it. Tragic, criminal is the words that come to mind. Tune into Raw and get a fucking house show. Imagine that. That's how far we have sunk on this television show. On this wrestling program. Again, the main event of the night was a boxer named Tyson Fury. Listen, we've all seen Fury's fights. We don't mind Fury. But this dude has no business in the ring, guys. When this brawl was taking place with Braun, he was swinging at air. Nobody taught this guy how to throw a fucking WWE punch. He's throwing uppercuts at air, and the poor security dudes don't know what to... Oh, should we sell this, or should we make it like a little more real, like you didn't connect? So I'm going to try to go back at you and hit me again. So some of the security guards are actually falling down on air shot uppercuts. We'll start from the beginning. Tyson Fury's in the middle of the ring demanding an apology from Braun Strowman. Again, what the... Seriously? Is this where we're at in WWE? We have a tragic night at Hell in a Cell with that main event, and now our main event of Monday Night Raw is Tyson Fury, a boxer, demanding an apology from Braun Strowman, who was too busy on the phone with his mother, demanding an answer for why the right Capri Sun was not in his lunchbox, and where the fuck is his chocolate chip cookies? So he's busy, but he comes out anyway, and we have a face-to-face, Braun Strowman-Tyson. Tyson says, I'm the heavyweight champion. How many heavyweight titles have you held? This pisses off Braun Strowman. He already didn't have his right Capri Sun and chocolate chip cookies, so he's going to throw a fit. And this was literally a Minions fit. Him and Tyson start minion fighting. You guys know what a minion is? It's those little fucking short yellow Oompa Loompas. Pretty adorable, right? If they're on the fucking movie screen. I don't want to see near 7-footers acting like minions. That's not adorable. So they're fucking fighting like this. Again, Tyson sometimes switched it up with air uppercuts. He was trying to knock people out by swinging at air. And he was succeeding. People are actually falling down. How did this thing end? So at first they were restrained by security. That wasn't enough. They kept on going at one another. And then so the locker room had to empty out. That wasn't even enough. They had to go at one another. And this thing was all just fucking bonkers. If you were not laughing from the misery that we were subjected to last night, then I feel for you, because you were just probably at an angered state. I tried to rise above the anger and just laugh at the stupidity of it all, because that is what I'm trying to do for my own fucking health lately by watching this show. You know, if Vince just gave that main event segment to one of his actual talents on the roster, imagine what that could do for somebody. You could, here's a crazy concept, create a superstar that one day may be larger than life. But instead, he takes this boxer that half that arena doesn't even know about, and he puts them in this hissy fit minion fight with Braun. And that's your main event last night. Again, if you're gonna have that story, cool. It's your company, you can do what you want. Put that in the middle of Raw, where Lana, Rusev, and Bobby Lashley's feud should be. We should be having epic feuds to kick off Raw and end Raw. Top of the second hour, top of the third hour. No way, shape, or form should Lana, Rusev, and Bob Lashley be starting Raw and Tyson Fury and Braun ending Raw. Mind-boggling, but I guess we all are kind of used to this by now, aren't we? That was Monday Night Raw for October 7th, 2019, the post-Hell in a Cell Monday Night Raw, and you wouldn't have even known it because they barely even talked about Hell in a Cell because they knew they fucked up, but they did not want to right their wrongs. They didn't want to admit it by putting on a good show, so they gave us an even more lackluster show. And as a punishment, Vince doesn't even give anyone fucking pyro. You'll get a theme song, and you'll get Bobby Lashley and Lana in bed together. That's what you're gonna get. And we'll cap it off with a minion fight! I was gonna say SmackDown tonight, but that's no more. That's gonna be Friday night. So maybe I'll have an impromptu video for you guys tomorrow. But I'll definitely see you for the duo review, AEW and NXT. At least Wednesday has gotten the Amplified Man's blood boiling a little bit in the right direction. At least Wednesday nights have gotten us wrestling fans a pulse again for the wrestling industry and got us somewhat excited for wrestling. Pro wrestling at its finest, man. Wednesday nights have become almost what Monday used to be for us. I mean, that's the trajectory that we're heading on now. So I'll definitely see you guys Thursday for the duo review, AEW and NXT, and we'll see. We'll break it down, and we'll see if one of the shows actually produced a better product. So stay subscribed and notified, guys. I'll be pumping out videos all this week. You know the deal. For now, you also know the deal. Lots of coffee, lots of ass whooping. The Amplified Man. Get it up, baby. What? Get it up, baby. What? Get it up. Amplified style.